Most people think making $10,000 a month requires an office, employees showing up every single day, and years of experience. I'm here to tell you that's completely BS. Right now, I run a cleaning business that generates over $40,000 a month, and I manage it entirely from my laptop. No office, no employees that I have to babysit, no special skills required. And in this video, I'm gonna show you the exact remote cleaning model that many individuals are using to generate $10,000 per month from their homes. Look, I know what you're probably thinking. How can you possibly run a cleaning business without actually being on the job site? And to tell you the truth, I was thinking the same exact thing when I was first getting started. But managing a cleaning business remotely is far simpler than people realize, and I'm gonna show you the exact process that I use every single day. So every single morning, I spend 30 minutes checking in with my entire team, reviewing our completed jobs from the previous day, as well as being aware of the upcoming cleanings for the current day, and checking in with our support team in the event of any high priority issues that have popped up. And that's literally it. That's pretty much the entire process that I do to manage a $40,000 per month cleaning business every single day. So a typical day looks like for me is that I wake up around 8 o'clock, I've got a coffee in my hand, I'm usually checking everything I just talked about on my phone for about 30 minutes. If I want to, I can deep dive any particular cleaning that we might have had a question with or that was recently completed, can check the before photos, can check the after photos, can see when our cleaners clocked in and clocked out and ensured that our customers were happy with the service. All detailed within the software, as well as our processes that our cleaners have to do to ensure that we have high quality service each and every time. And if there are any issues, and I'd say this probably happens about 5 to 10% of the time, just like any business that you run, our support team is handling any cleaner issues and client issues that might arise on the job. For example, if a cleaner was running late that morning, our team is proactively reaching out to our client, letting them know, confirming the new time, and making sure that we're coordinating everything seamlessly from end to end. And I know that's one small example, but there are many, many different examples of this throughout a cleaning company. And I would just tell you, the key to all of this is having the right systems so this can be done without you being there. So we have scheduling softwares, we have management softwares that handle everything from the client booking with us online all the way to completing a service for our clients each and every single day. We've got automated messages that go out throughout the entire process of communication. We've got payment processing that's done automatically. Every part of the system is exactly set up so it does not require manual effort each and every time. And from the cleaner side, they have exact instructions, exactly what the client wants, photos that show the specific areas that we're talking about, so they know exactly what needs to get done each and every time to ensure the highest possible quality. So when you have all these things in place, you can run this business remotely because everything is organized, systematized, and can be run without you. For example, I was in Mexico last month for an extended stay, and the business was still running without me, didn't require my time, and actually grew in revenue while I was gone. And the reason being is I wasn't responsible for actually having to be on site, actually having to micromanage everybody, and manually doing things in the company for us to continue to grow, scale, and run. So that's what it looks like on a day-to-day basis for me today, but I know a lot of you are interested in, okay, that's great, you're at $40,000 a month, and that's not where I am today. I'm at, hey, I don't even have a company, or hey, I'm just starting, and what are the numbers to get to $10,000 per month? And I'm gonna break this down for you really simply because I know a lot of people get this confused and they're thinking, okay, well, that's a ton of clients I need, and I think when you really peel back the numbers, it'll give you a lot of clarity, and clarity provides action, okay, things that you can act towards and actually accomplish. Let's walk through the numbers right now. So in order to hit $10,000 per month, I would see around $200 per clean is typically you'll need around 50 of those a month. Okay, so 50 times 200 equals 10,000. So if we were to break that down into days, if you had 20 working days a month, not including the weekends, you're really averaging about 2.5 cleanings per day in order to hit a $10,000 per month. And you might be thinking to yourself, okay, that's a lot of clients to generate in 1 month, 50 new sales. And yes, that is a lot of new sales to have per month, but the reality is that's not how you build the business and that's not how you get there. You want to be building your recurring base of clients each and every month and see growth there. So when someone's hitting $10,000 per month, they might have a 50-50 split. Half of them are recurring customers, meaning they've already sold them in previous months and they're signed on for services this month. And then they might actually have some one-time cleanings that come in. So it's actually more of a blended number from where the clients are coming from. So that's what I would recommend in terms of like how you should think about how do I get there. And the other thing you might be thinking is like $200 a month seems like a lot and I'm not used to charging that much. And typically when someone tells me that, that usually indicates there's something internally for them that they have to compete on price as opposed to value. So what I would recommend in terms of developing a pricing strategy for yourself is go to the market, find out what other people are charging, start to get a real sense of, feel versus real. I think a lot of people will, feel that they're not charging enough, but they don't actually have any data and evidence that that's true or not. So I always recommend going to get the data, make a data-driven decision on doing that pricing, understanding that you're not trying to be the cheapest, you're trying to be a premium service. Premium service also means all the things we talked about before. You gotta have the systems in place, you gotta have the processes in place, you gotta have the people in place, otherwise you're not gonna be delivering a premium service. So all of this has to come together for you to be able to execute something like this. So going through that exercise and coming to the realization of wherever you're at pricing-wise may need to be adjusted, which might mean you also need to improve your sales process as well, but that's potentially a whole nother video in and of itself. So I really recommend just going through a pricing exercise so you can get comfortable with that as you're on the front lines trying to sell your services. And aside from the pricing, let me maybe just give you a timeline of like, what does it typically look like, especially with people in our program that go from like, hey, I've never had a company like this before to, hey, I've hit $10,000 per month, I've done the 50 houses, I've learned my pricing, and I've gotten my company to a certain point. So typically that first month is actually really more about making sure your business is set up, making sure your systems are set up, making sure your software is set up, admin, legal, you understand the model, you understand the strategies from a client acquisition standpoint, a cleaner acquisition standpoint, and you're ready to press play. Month 2 is really kind of when things start to take off, when you're starting to get your first cleaners, you're starting to get your first clients. I would expect you to have, you know, if we're talking about those 50 clients that we're trying to get, you're really getting around that like 15 clients sold on the first month of doing business. So you're typically going to be around like a 3 or 4K in revenue, and you've got a couple recurring clients as well in addition to the 3 or 4K that you've sold. Month 3 is about stacking on really kind of like what you've done well in the first month. So now you might actually have a couple cleaners on your team. You're getting more comfortable with the marketing channels. You've now probably grown your recurring base to maybe a few $1,000s a month, and you're still continuing to sell those one-time cleans. You're probably going to be somewhere in the range of like $6,000 and $7,000 per month. So now you've got a small team, you're learning how to sell, and you're really starting to get a feel for how this business can grow. And I would say if you're an overachiever, and I know there's some testimonials that are people that excel at this, you can certainly hit 10,000 in this month if you really put your mind to it, but we're talking about more of an average case. Assuming that happens, the 4th month is really when I expect you to hit, you know, somewhere in the range of 10,000, getting those 50 clients, having 20, 25 of those cleans be people you've already sold over the last 60, 90 days, and then still having those one-time sales to hit that $10,000 per month. And then from there, honestly, a lot of people will scale very quickly and actually faster from the 10,000 to the 20,000 because they understand now the processes, the systems, and how to do it. So typically when someone gets their first 10,000, their time to get to 20,000 is actually shorter, is what I've found, because they know how to do everything at that point. By the way, if you want to work with me one-on-one, where I'll give you my complete system for building a remote cleaning business on your own that generates $10,000 per month in 120 days or less, click the link in the description below. Okay, so that's the timeline of how to get to $10,000 per month, but how do you actually do this? And I think people's first thought is, how do I actually get clients? And this is where people oftentimes overcomplicate things, thinking they have to have, 10 different marketing channels to be able to execute a launch of a cleaning business. And I'm here to tell you that's far from the truth. Now, there are things that we do from a digital marketing perspective that are a little bit more expensive. They do work and they can scale you extremely fast. However, when you're first starting out and maybe you don't have a ton of budget to do something like this, my number one recommendation for getting started is just to go hyper local first within your market. And here's my exact method that I would use starting today. So I would start with a list of like 50 to 100 people that I know in the area, and I wouldn't text them directly asking for them to hire me. I think that's a bit uncomfortable and it's too direct for using your own local network of people that you trust and have built rapport with over the years. Instead, what I would do is send a text to all those people, so coworkers, friends, family, etc., and message them the following. Hey, I'm starting a premium cleaning service in the area. Do you know anyone that needs a reliable cleaning service? Notice what I did there? I'm not asking them to be their client. I'm asking them who they know. So this removes the pressure and can actually generate your first referrals. And why this works so well is that when someone refers you, they're essentially giving you a pre-sold prospect. And instead of a cold prospect who has no idea who you are, who you have to build trust with right away, you're getting a warm prospect from a referral that they've already pre-vetted. Then once you've had those initial referral customers, you're gonna start to get to know those neighborhoods in particular. And my recommendation is to go hyper local from there. So I want you to identify what are the nice neighborhoods that have the disposable income that can pay for premium cleaning services. So we're thinking the nice cars, the nice houses, right? All of those things that contribute to signal to you that they can afford a premium cleaning service. Because what you want are customers that understand the value proposition that you're saving them time, and time is extremely valuable. And what I would do is have some sort of physical. So I think door hangers that you can put on all of these doors with a direct message to that person and a specific offer. And the door hanger message can be extremely simple. It can be designed in your branding and logo, and you want to have a clear call to action. For example, grand opening, new service in the area. You can put your cleaning service's name and then say, 30, 40% off your first cleaning if you sign up today, and then have your number there. And that way people are looking at that, it's on their door, they're getting the message within 1 second. I think that's the key if you're going to execute this strategy, is visually as well as conceptually, it needs to be conveyed within a 1 second attention span, because people only have 1 second today. So you need to make sure that you're getting the best use of those physical deliverables. If you're already going to do the hard work of going out there, going to those doors and putting that stuff there. And I would just tell you a secret tip that I would do for something like this is I would send this actually on the weekends, right? So I would do something like this strategy on a Saturday between a 9 and 12 o'clock window when people are relaxed, they're not busy, they're open to listening to people and potentially reading something, right? If you go and do this at like 5 p.m. on a Wednesday, that's the middle of someone's work week, they're stressed, they've got a million things going on in their mind, they're gonna grab that thing, throw it in the trash, not think twice. So timing also matters, and I recommend doing that type of window if you're gonna do this strategy. And I think there are digital marketing strategies that can work extremely well, but I think you need to be differentiated at times and have other things at play. And I think this is great because you're not competing with all those other people online. It allows you an opportunity to get hyper local, build trust within a community, build a referral network within that community, and grow from a small moment, but over time it basically snowballs into you dominating a particular neighborhood or dominating a particular community. And then from there, for example, someone's gonna call in, we're not doing a old school, hey, we're going to your home, we're gonna look at every single thing in your home and spend a whole day quoting your home just to give you a price, right? I have a detailed, structured process for getting all the information we need so we can give them transparency and pricing right away and be straightforward about our business. And from there, you can build the business much quicker, there's less friction, and you're gonna be seen as a more hassle-free, technology-focused, competent company. So that's kind of the client acquisition method and what I would recommend if you're just starting out. And obviously the other part of that equation is, hey, we've got to get cleaners to actually clean the homes, because that's going to be the number one person on the field that's actually fulfilling the service. And this is where cleaning businesses honestly fail or succeed, because finding reliable cleaners honestly is the most challenging thing when you're just starting out. And I'm going to share with you exactly how I did it. So here's my process for hiring cleaners I use each and every time. So first, I post on various job boards. So think, Indeed, Craigslist, Facebook groups, Nextdoor, any of those things that are where my target customer, in this case, the target customer's cleaners, are residing. Within those ads and within those job boards, I'm not just saying, hey, I need cleaners at this price. I'm specific about exactly how I'm describing the role, what I'm looking for, what are the requirements, so I can find and filter the right candidates immediately who apply. And what I'm doing here is I'm specifically pre-qualifying people and attracting higher quality candidates by mentioning premium clients at premium prices. So the wrong people are going to be a bit turned off by that opportunity, and the right people are going to get very excited about that opportunity. And then from there, I'm looking at whatever their application is in terms of experience mostly. I want to know that they have years of experience, right? I don't want somebody who is going to be a liability at all of these jobs. I want somebody that I know I can trust from a cleaning experience level and have professional background experience. And then from there, we'll have them on an interview. I've got a specific script that I go line by line, every single question I want answered. And that's going to dive deeper into their background, the qualities that I'm looking for in a cleaner, and many other questions that vet them so we know that we've got the right fit, the right person at the right time. And then assuming they pass the interview process, then I've got an onboarding sequence from there that covers things like, the basics of getting a contract signed, doing a background check, and making sure that everything is ready to go from the cleaner's end so they can be live with my company and go to their test clean. And that's really the last step of the process, is having a test clean where you've got a cleaner doing a short clean, whether it's at a friend's house or your house or whoever it may be. That's an opportunity for you to see firsthand whether or not they're actually good at the service and following directions and checking in and doing all the things that are required to be a high-level cleaner at your company. And throughout all that process, we're actually looking at how are they communicating, what's their attitude, right? All the little micro nuances that go into, hey, I'm gonna work with this person on a day-to-day basis. Is this someone who's gonna be a good fit for our company or not? And I think the key insight here is that a lot of people when they first start, I think they need to have a perfect person to be able to start a cleaning business, and they need a perfect cleaner. And I would tell you that's gonna be far from the truth, and that shouldn't be your expectation to start. Yes, it's great if you find that person immediately, and kudos to you. I think everyone is fortunate if they can get that level of cleaner right away. But I think the better approach and the better mindset, and the one that helped me through this entire initial process process was having perfect systems in place that helped you identify bad cleaners early and great cleaners quickly, right? If you have a great system, it'll weed itself out and basically act as a filtration system so you can have a team of top-level cleaners quickly. So that really covers how the cleaners are, brought on the team and the process that goes on there. I'd say like throughout that entire beginning journey, there's a couple things that really kill success. The number one being somebody that's trying to do the cleaning themselves to save money or maintain quality control. On paper, this sounds logical, right? Hey, I'm making sure that the company's going to be as good as possible because I'm doing it and I know that I can trust myself. However, that's the exact mentality that's gonna get you stuck between like $3,000 or $4,000 a month and never evolving as an owner. Because when you're the one cleaning the houses, there is no one there to run your business. So you're literally sacrificing the dollar per hour that you're earning as a cleaner, and you're not able to actually run the business, generate sales, generate marketing awareness, right? Those are the things that are higher leverage that can produce much more income for your business because you cannot scale yourself. You can't clean two houses at once. You can't clean a house and generate sales at once. I'm sure you've probably called a cleaning company and you've talked to the owner and they're in the middle of a clean and it's like so disorganized. You can just tell they don't know how to run business. And I think the mindset shift that you have to go through, especially if you're just starting this, is realize that you are going to be the owner operator of this company. You're not going to be the cleaner of this company. And your job is not to clean houses. It's to build a system that ensures that houses get cleaned perfectly every time. My value is in the business operation, the client management, the team management, and the business development, not in wielding a vacuum. And here's what I tell all of my students. Your time is more valuable doing something business operationally related than cleaning a house. The 4 hours that you're cleaning a house, if you had just spent that 4 hours doing any kind of marketing, cold calling, running paid advertisement, taking sales calls, you can generate multiples of revenue off of what you quote unquote made at the cleaning for the same amount of time. And you have to realize you're trading your opportunity cost of time every single time you're doing that. And oftentimes that's actually how you burn out, get stressed, get overwhelmed, and don't succeed, is you've actually taken on too many things. You're trying to do too many things that are not your responsibility. And you don't understand where your focus should be at certain parts of the journey. And this mentality was exactly the same mentality that Sarah implemented in her cleaning business when she was first getting started. She was thinking, I have to do everything. I need to do everything. I've got to be everywhere. And I've got to check in with all the clients after every clean on site. And we had to have a conversation about, hey, what's the opportunity cost of your time and where should you be focused on? That way we can get to where we want to go as quick as possible. And when she was able to do that, she was able to spend a lot more time on the phones generating sales, a lot more time in the interview process, bringing on cleaners that can actually fulfill in all of these houses. And she was able to scale from honestly 0 to 10K per month in literally just 23 days because she was using her time in the right places. So the moment you start thinking about how do I stop doing the actual work and how do I manage the work that's actually getting done, I think that's the big unlock that really can result in huge changes. You can scale, you can grow, you can take time off, and you're off the hamster wheel having to trade your time for money constantly. And here's what a lot of people are afraid of. Hey, this cleaner that I'm about to send, they can't clean as good as I can. And there may be some truth to that, depending on how good of a cleaner you are. But I would challenge you in that a good enough cleaning every single time with the correct systems and the correct team in place and the correct support in place is going to be infinitely better than a perfectly cleaned place that requires you to be there every single time. Again, you can even take the example like Amazon. You don't have Jeff Bezos dropping off a package every time you order something. He realized this too, right? He realized I can't do all of this myself. I need to build a team, a system, an infrastructure to give me a predictable result time over time when a customer wanted to interact with my company. So again, your job is to create systems that build a predictable service that people can rely on, not you to actually do the service predictably every single time. And that is what builds a real business. The difference between people making $10,000 per month at home and those that are stuck in corporate jobs is choosing a business model that actually works remotely. If you want the complete step-by-step system that my students use it at 10,000 in under 120 days, click the link in the description below to apply for my one-on-one program. Now click this video on the screen right here. YouTube thinks you'll like this one next. I'll see you over there.